for ideology, you artistic pieces of shit. Ideology, yo, light your blunts and pack your bowls. Ideology, bro, burn that shit like acetone. Ideology, yo, introducing salty Paul. Ideology, bro, you can lick it salty balls. Better open up the door, bitch, it's gorilla. Got your pussy asses screaming like no vanilla. If you're new up in this bitch, then you might be lost. You might just get the shit cannon like Kawaii cost.
What it do, what it do?
Give me the lighter, light the cigarette fire. This is the shit we admire. Get the business down to the wire. You must be tripping, this ain't easy work. We burning Bibles and Qurans like we TJ Kirk. Damn.
What it do,
Because
what
all
it
is
do?
on a mission, obliterating the tism of this generation of offended bitches and syllogisms, tripping acid, having mystical visions, and staying in the mid, growing older and older while you be shitting.
Please
Got
clap.
your girlie getting wetter, while you still screaming, DP better. I don't really give a shit if you a fantasy, get banned when you mention the manatee. And can it be a little bit of vanity? Got me questioning my sanity. Pessimistic philosophy, honestly,
What it
I
do,
want my
what it do?
ideology. Yo, light your blunts and pack your bowls. Ideology, bro, burn that shit like acetone. Ideology, yo, introducing salty Paul. Ideology, bro, you can lick it salty balls.
Hello. Hi. How's it going? How's everybody doing this evening? I hope you're well. Unless you're an asshole, and then I hope you're having a fucking terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's actually not true. Even if you're an asshole, I hope you're having a good day. In fact, assholes deserve a good day now and again because typically, you know, people who are assholes are that way because life fucks them up the ass, you know. That's at least in my experience. Some people are just born that way, though. Am I alone? Oh, stop it. Stop it, Alex. I'm starting to get wet. Dude, if you guys missed the last night's ideology, it was a humdinger, dude. It was a ring dinger of a ideology. Let me just tell you that. We figured out that Mike Pence was the moon. Don't even ask. You're just going to have to go watch. We went through 20 questions that you can text a girl to make her wet. Not a single one of which I think would actually succeed at making a girl wet, but what the fuck do I know? Yeah, it was I don't remember a whole bunch of it, but I do remember I laughed a lot, and those are typically good ideologies, so go check those out when I let you know about them. Oh yeah, Sarah was drenched like Niagara Falls, according to her own testimony. But you were high and said you were the moon. Oh yeah, yeah. Things got weird. And, like, you know, for me, those are probably the ideologies that I would like the most if I were watching them and not making them. You know what I mean? They can't all be that. I mean, fuck me. I don't have the energy for that shit, but pleasure spots. Oh, God, dude, that article was very creepy. It had a very rapey overtone to it that was very out there, and like in some of the questions it was just blatant. There was a question about groping that was just, I mean, whatever, just go watch it. We don't need to go through it. We don't need to go through it again. See, look at that. Tova says he hasn't laughed so hard in months. So there you go. Now it's very likely or possible that you don't share my very, very childish and repetitive sense of humor, and if that's the case, you're probably not going to like last night's show very much. But if you are a person who embraces that kind of silly absurdity and the constant drumbeat of hammering on a joke until you find every little pocket of funny in it, then it's a pretty good one. I don't usually put you guys on to ideologies, but I had a lot of fun with that one, so go check it out. Tonight will be a dreary episode to compensate. We're going to talk about how the world is going to end. No, I don't really care to do. I mean, if that's what you guys want to talk about, we can do that. I'm just kidding. I didn't plan this to be a dreary episode. I didn't plan it to be anything. This is a very standard ideology. I came here as a, I came here as a man that's ready to be an empty vessel ready to be filled with all of you. That sounds very gay, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Please clap.
We can talk about the price of rice in China. We can if you want. I don't particularly know anything about it, but hey, I'm willing to. I've had conversations about stupider things and things that I knew less about, you know. Let's talk about SIDS and child labor. See, the Canadian Führer wants it to go dark. Hey, man, maybe it will. I don't know. The rice of price in China is down because of our tariffs. Go Trump. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. Let's talk about Paul's left leg. All right. Well, what do you want to know about it? I'll answer any question about my left leg that you guys answer or ask, okay? No matter how fucking personal. Every detail of my left leg I will be completely fucking honest about, okay? So go ahead. That's all I want for, you know, this little segment. We're going to call this segment Paul's left leg. Okay? How hairy is it? I could probably show you. It's not very. I'm not overall. It may seem strange, but overall, I'm not a very hairy person. So I'll let you. Yeah, I don't need to show you that. You can go look it up. There's a picture on my Instagram. I'll just pull it up. I took a picture of my wide ass legs when I was sitting out in the sun in California because we don't get sun here. So I figured, you know, while I was there, let me find my wide ass legs for you so you can get an idea of the hairiness. Now I have really super blonde body hair. So that probably gives the appearance that I'm less hairy than I am, but I'm just overall not a very hairy dude. Here you go. So there it is. Let me give you the full screen on it. That's as best I can do for you. But yeah, you can see. I've got some sparse hairiness going on. You can see. But yeah, not a very hairy guy. Much more concerned about how fucking pale I am. I'm much more concerned about the fact that this big vein that runs down the side of your, you know, like shin all the way to your ankle here, you can pretty much see as if I didn't have skin. You know what I mean? It's pretty much translucent here. Which, yeah. Yeah, pasty doesn't even begin to cover it, bro. I'm pale. I'm legitimately pale. So that is, you know, that's a concern, dude. That's not a good thing. You don't want to be full-blown pale. You don't want to go full powder. You know what I mean? You guys ever see that movie? Because I'm like right on the edge of powder. Man. This is so stupid. I can't believe this. All right, let me give it to you. Here's Powder. This was Powder here. It was a movie about him. I guess this is one of those like feel sorry for the, you know, guy movies. I don't know. Where you're like it's supposed to be a tragic tale of this poor kid that grows up. Yeah, pretty gross. Yeah, but I'm pretty much this. Yeah. If I was one shade paler, I would be Powder. Voldemort, like this guy, Powder is actually more disturbing in many ways than Voldemort ever could be, in my opinion. Powder is pretty fucking hideous. But what do I know? Oh, really? No chest hair? Okay, that's an out of chat question, but yeah, no, I do have chest hair. It's just I don't have like a pelt. You know what I mean? I'm not like wearing a fur shirt underneath my shirt. Let's put it that way. I have chest hair. And it's like blonde and soft. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Dude, I'll be honest with you, dude. If you wanted to go the full gamut on the body hair, my pubes are the same way. The pubes mimic the body hair. They're super blonde. And there's not a whole lot of them. You know what I mean? They're there. But I just, you know what I mean? I've got a very easily maintainable set of body hair. You know what I mean? I have very soft pubes. You could put my pubes in pigtails if you wanted. Put little bows in it. It's very soft and silky. Oh, shit. I'm here for you, buddy. Thanks, Bizarre Czar. Show us your pubes. That'd be gangsta. Oh, dude. Pigtails in the pubes, dude. I just started the new trend. You're going to see Post Malone with pigtails in his pubes here pretty soon. Just, you know, it's going to spread like wildfire. Just remember it was me that started it, okay? Pube tails. Oh, my fucking God, dude. Can we not? Can we not? Keep these questions centered around my left leg, okay? How did we even get on pubes? You disgusting freaks. I did not start it. You're full of fucking shit. Keep this centered on my left leg, okay? This is not the Paul's Pubes segment, you disgusting freaks. Pube tails. Which one of you monkeys came up with that? Which one of you fucking ancient apes came up with that shit? Oh, wait, it was me. By the way, guys, I got silky pubes. Well, yeah. I mean, I do. Paul identifies as a turkey drumstick. No, dude. I wouldn't even eat a turkey drumstick. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You can keep that turkey drumstick. Want to lick your clean-shaven legs? Gross, Jack. No. Jack, are you Jean-Francois Guerrepé? You're gay as fuck? Oh, cool. Good for you, bro. Looks like everyone took the article's advice. Yeah. It does. Yeah, he made a troll account. Who? Point out the troll and bring him before the council. Whence is the troll? Put cornrows on the bitch. Dude, okay, wait a minute now. Let's go back to my silky pubes for a second, because this other shit we're talking about is just uncomfortable. Cornrows in the pubes. That might be fly as fuck, honestly. Can you imagine, like, the clout that it would add to the first time you drop your pants if instead of, like, trimmed back or, like, the full bush or whatever the fuck, you've got cornrows, like, tight-ass fucking cornrows in it? I mean, I don't know about the ladies, but that would work on me. Instant millionaire, yeah. Well, fair enough. All right. Dreaded pubes, yeah. I mean, we can just make this the pubes show if you want. We could just talk about pubes all night, you sick freaks. Why did you bring this up? And why, for the love of God, will you not let me get off this topic? Every time I try to change this topic, you guys keep bringing it back to pubes. Okay? Can you grow up? Oh my fucking God. It was actually me that descended thrice into the basement of pubes. See, this is what I was talking about when I was talking about the episode last night, about my repetitive sense of humor. See, I don't just like dropping one pube joke and then moving on. I like to explore every space between the pubes. Every biojo living in the pubes. You get my drift? I like to know what's going on in the pubes if we're gonna talk about the pubes. Oh, but I do think that we have reached the bottom of that barrel. I will say that. I do think that there is no more room to explore the pubes. I think we've said everything that needs to be said. We could write a book on just what we've discussed tonight. Oh, man. Okay, all right. Enough pubes. We've had enough. I want a new topic right now. Snap to it, you. Drop the topic. Farts. It's a well-worn topic. Favorite color? Go. It's green. I love green. You may not be able to tell it, but my sunglasses are a dark green tint. I love green. So green would be the answer to that. Good topic switch. I feel like I'm speed dating now. All right, this is the speed dating segment where you get 15 seconds to ask one question and you're not actually going to get a date with the person either. But other than that, there you go. What's your favorite food? If you're going to put me on the spot, I'll say pizza in general. There are things I like to eat better than pizza, but if you're talking about just a general food that I can eat pretty much any time, pizza. What's your sign? I'm an Aries. I do not put a whole lot of stock in the zodiac, although I do find that I mimic some of the things that are supposed to typify an Aries, the most prominent of them being the stubbornness and bullheadedness of the Aries. Top or bottom? I'm a switch. What's your favorite album? If you're going to hold my feet to the fire and ask me to pick a favorite album of all time, like one that I'd have to take to a desert island with me, I would pick Incesticide by Nirvana, which is not even really a proper album. So, favorite Nintendo game? Like old Nintendo or just overall in the Nintendo pantheon? I guess it doesn't really matter. If you're going to make me choose, I would probably say Super Mario Brothers 2. A very close runner-up would be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Favorite 90s frontman besides Kurt? Ooh, good question. Probably Trent Reznor. Did you hear that the Investigator committed suicide? What? Shut up. Did he? Dude, don't say shit like that. That's mean. That's a mean thing to say. Like, why would you say something like that? Favorite comic book ever? I loved the Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War series. I actually own all of them. They're in a dusty old box somewhere in my mom's attic. So yeah, I was into the original Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet series that Marvel put out, and those were by far my favorite comic books ever. Close runner-up would be the 90s run of Sabretooth's self-titled comic. The first 2 books of that are just like total art. Weirdest music that you're into. I don't know. I listen to some pretty experimental, like crazy jazz stuff sometimes. I like jazz fusion and kind of like the experimental end of the jazz thing. I don't go there a whole lot, but I can really groove to some strange, funky, off-tempo, weird performance arty jazz. So that's probably the stuff that people would consider the most weird that I'll listen to. Worst current rapper? I don't want to do that. I'm not going to spit hate at anybody out there rapping. I mean, there's some bad rappers out there, but I don't know who's the worst. Do you listen to lowercase? No. What music do you listen to that you're a little shamed you like? I don't hold a lot of shame with the music that I listen to. So I guess the stuff that people would probably think is the most cringy is I kind of like pop. Like there's some pop shit I really like. I've always liked pop. Like it started in the 80s. I listened to a lot of Michael Jackson. My mom listened to a lot of Bee Gees, which was very poppy disco. So I was like kind of raised on an element of pop. And so modern pop that I like would be like Lady Gaga. I like Billie Eilish or some of her stuff, not all of it. Just like more poppy kind of shit. But I don't really, like I said, I'm not ashamed to talk about that. Did you get Scotty a birthday gift? I did, but it's still coming for him in the mail, so I can't talk about what it is yet. Because he might hear it through the grapevine, or you assholes might tell him. Some pet peeves. My ultimate pet peeve is somebody who doesn't speak their mind, who like kind of covertly wants me to read what they want from me or need from me. That is like something that I've struggled with in all of my relationships. And that's not pointing the finger because I think that a lot of relationships have that kind of shit, but it is a real pet peeve of mine. And that it's a hypocritical pet peeve because I have done that, and probably will do that in the future. I try not to. Not necessarily passive aggressiveness, but just a desire to somehow, like it's somehow the only way that whatever offense has been given can be mended is for the other person, and in this case me, to figure it out on my own. And I try and be a direct person as I can be. And I try and not sit on all these subversive kind of emotions. If they pop up, I try and address them with people. So it really is a pet peeve of mine when people treat me that way. Like if you're going to be angry at me, but not completely cut me out, then at least have the decency to tell me why so that I can address it directly, and don't just walk around angry at me forever and treat me like shit until I figure it out, That's all. It sounds very specific, but it's a pet peeve. Worst Starbucks customer you've had? Irwin. I've told the story of Irwin here, and I don't know that I'll tell it again. Have you guys heard the Irwin story? I'll take a poll of at least the people that are here in the chat, and if most of you have not heard the Irwin story, then I'll tell the Irwin story. Yeah, some people are saying yes, nope, nah, no, I haven't. Irwin, blah, 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 nope. Okay. So there's a few of you that have heard it. So basically, I was working at a Starbucks. I was in my early 20s, and I was working at a Starbucks in, sorry, got a little frog in my throat. I was working at a Starbucks in Fresno, California, and there was this really angry kind of old man that would come in, And he would, like, always, he would always, like, the drink would always be wrong. No matter what we would do, the drink would be wrong. And I would take it upon myself to make his drink myself. Now, when I had just moved to this store when I learned about Irwin. And I was warned about him on my first day working at the store. They said, Irwin is an asshole. Every time he comes in, he will complain. Just remake his drink. Keep your head down. Don't respond to his insults. You know, whatever. He'll go on his business, and he'll be back the next day. It's just part of working here. But I kind of took it upon myself, like, I'm going to crack this nut. I'm going to turn Irwin, if I'm going to have to see this old crotchety fuck every day of my life, I'm going to try and turn Irwin into a good customer. I'm going to do my best. So I started being extra nice to Irwin. Instead of doing what everybody else did and just keeping their head down and going like, here's your drink. And, oh, this is wrong. You've made this wrong. There's not enough foam here. Look at this foam. It's not enough foam, you know, whatever it was that day, you know. Take it back. Instead of just going, all right, and remaking it like we normally would and just keep our head down, I started going like, I'm so sorry, Irwin. I'm really, really sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and show you that foam before I put it on top this time, okay? So you can just double check that it's the way you want it, so I'll know for next time. You know, and he'd be like, well, you're better, you know. He was never happy about it no matter what. But I kept doing that shit. Kept doing that shit. It's like grind him down, you know what I mean? But it never really worked. His assholery never lessened until one day. There was one day. I saw Irwin sitting out. He used to come in sometimes, and he would sit out on the patio, and he would smoke a cigar, and he would read his paper. And he was sitting out there, and I went and I asked him. I went out. I was on my break, and, you know, the patio was kind of full, and I asked him, I said, you know, you mind if I join you? If that's okay with you? And he kind of looked down over his paper, and he goes, yeah, that's fine. And that first day, we didn't really talk about much. We just had, like, banter back and forth. But it was like an icebreaker. You know what I mean? At some point, we had kind of engaged each other because he knew that I was on my break. And I was no longer like an employee of his or an employee of the stores. At least I know I was, but there was like a man-to-man kind of connection that was able to happen at that point that just was not existent, you know what I mean? And that led to multiples of those. And slowly but surely, Irwin kind of started to open up to me. And he would talk about how he loved cheesy-ass jokes, which I do too. I mean, I love groaners, and he loved what they call a groaner, which is like a joke that's not really meant to make you laugh. It's meant to make you go, "Aw, come on." I love those, right? I love that little weird cubby hole in between annoying and funny. I like to try and occupy that sometimes. And he did too. So he would start, he was very, you know, not computer savvy, but he was trying, you know, and he would print out these jokes that I could tell he'd found them on websites or he'd written them down himself as he remembered them. And every day he started bringing me these jokes. Well, as this was going on, his demeanor inside of the store was starting to soften. His drink started to be right the first time. He started to greet people with a smile and a hello and by their first name, and people were fucking flabbergasted. They didn't know what to do with it when he first started doing it because Irwin was like not the dude that you ever wanted to see come in the store, but all of a sudden he's starting to be a better guy. And then he starts bringing in these jokes for other people. And as time went on, he started taking his like lunch breaks, like other people started taking their lunch breaks with him, and he'd be out there and he'd be laughing and having a great time. And pretty soon he's like everybody's favorite fucking customer. I shit you not. He like turned around like that. It was a total 180 a total U-turn that this dude made, where he went from this kind of sour presence in the store to a dude that people genuinely liked being around. And it turns out he lived kind of a lonely life. He was a widower. He was a Korean War veteran, and his children had moved away, and he's like going old alone, basically. And it was a really cool thing. So, yeah, Irwin was my least favorite customer ever because I never had to spend more time being nice to an asshole in my life. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, he was a cool guy. He was just a lonely dude. I work at a Safeway, and I got similar stories myself from working there from 3+ years. You get some... Yeah. There was another dude that everybody used to hate, and he was not even really a customer because he hardly ever paid. But there was like a homeless dude. And he wasn't really homeless, but he was mentally ill and allowed by whoever his caretakers were, presumably some family members of his. I think it was a brother and a sister, who I'm not trying to, speak ill of or whatever. They probably did their best, but he just kind of would wander the streets and beg for money because they wouldn't give him much money because he would just want to buy cigarettes with it and shit. And I was a smoker at the time, so I was his favorite guy because, I was one of the only people that would sit and talk to him. And he was a schizophrenic guy. His name was Rainy Ray. And I can't remember what his last name was, but his first name was Rainy and his second name was Ray. And I don't know, dude. Like, everybody else kind of treated him like shit, so I didn't. I'd sit and talk with him, and every once in a while, he'd have some funny-ass shit to say. And he loved laughing at my jokes. I don't know how much of him he got, but you could just tell that he was kind of like, not only was he out bumming for change, but he was just kind of starved for, like, human interaction, He didn't just want a cigarette. He wanted to sit down and smoke one with you. You know what I mean? That's a little better. Are you ever lonely but hate people at the same time? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I can identify with that sentiment, my friend. Wait a minute, what? Clarify this last one, dude. I don't even know. People are even lonelier now. What? You think? You think people are lonelier now than when Eleanor Rigby was written? I don't know. Maybe people have always been kind of lonesome. Does it ever trip you out that you'll be immortalized forever? What? On what? Are they making a neckbeard Mount Rushmore or some shit? Where am I going to be immortalized? The internet is not immortal, my friend. I mean, neither is Mount Rushmore, but I think it attains the level of saying you've been immortalized to be carved in the fucking side of a mountain. You know what I mean? The internet is a passing thing, and this too shall pass. Mount Saltmore, yeah, let's do it. I'm down. Yeah, Rainy... Somebody said there was a homeless guy in his town named Brooks. I had a similar story, just a nice dude who doesn't have the resources. Yeah. And that was how Rainy was. Rainy ended up getting hit by a car. It was pretty sad, or at least I was. There's a couple other people at the store, too, that had kind of taken Rainy under their wing that were sad about it. He was just out in the fucking fog, walking around early in the morning and tried to run across the street to get to the fucking grocery store where he would beg for change and shit and just got popped. Mendacious sees an eternal brain in a vat. Cool. Become the next Buddha, Paul. You're fat enough. Dude, I don't even really think the Buddha is fat, bro. I'm pretty sure that fat little guy that's portrayed in the quote-unquote Buddha statues is not the Buddha. I might be wrong, though. We had a homeless guy named Mike. Okay, let's not go into everybody's homeless story, all right? Let's just not. We get it. Homeless people, it's sad, yes. Schizoids can be pretty scary. Yeah, Rainey could get a little weird sometimes. I always treated him like an adult about it though. And he would listen, you know what I mean? I would be straight with him. I'd say, Rainey, you're being an asshole. And he might get mad and storm off, or he might like go check himself for a minute and come back, but he'd always apologize. Buddha was skin and bones from sitting under a tree for months with no food. Yeah. Yeah, this fat guy that the Buddha statue, the statues that Buddhists will have of the fat guy, I don't think that's supposed to be necessarily the Buddha. But once again, I ain't a practicing Buddhist. Who cares? Who the fuck cares? Spirit of the tree nourished him. Okay, good. Siddhartha Gautama, I think, was the Buddha. The fat symbolizes spiritual abundance, I thought. Okay, cool. Paul, did you ever get hit on at any job, and did you take the chance to follow it up? I did, and I did not. In that order, yeah. I've been approached by people that I worked with. Only once did I ever even consider ever doing it. And I was in relationships for most of the time that I worked at jobs where shit like that would happen. I never got hit on at the school district. So, but at Starbucks, yeah, it happens. I always eschewed away anybody that did that because I was always in a position of management there. And so it was never a good idea. And there was only one time that I ever fucking considered it. One chick. And it's just because she had the booty. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. It didn't go much deeper than that. She was very cute. She was short as shit. I think she was like 4'11" or some shit. Cute as a button and had a big giant ass. I don't know. She had the booty. What are you going to do? I didn't do anything, though. I remained a gentleman. I made the right fucking decision. I did not engage in that with my underlings. Did consider that. It didn't go much deeper than that. Good quote. Would you ever bring back Pitch Wars as patron content? I always loved it, even though I didn't get the views you wanted it to. Yeah. What if she didn't wipe? Just get out of here. Somebody ban George Cush, please. Paul tips fedora at the tiny booty lady. Milady. Yes. Pitch Wars was dope. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Pitch Wars. It just didn't really get a whole lot of response. Like, we expected it not to be like a instant success or anything, but it really just didn't get anywhere near the amount of views as main channel content was getting. So, as much as we enjoyed doing it, it needed to be retooled. And I'd like to do it. I'd like to continue doing it in some form, but we'll figure it out. You have no motivation. Oh my God, dude. Okay, fair enough. Yep. How long would you give it before beaning it? Beaning what? How's the movie coming along? Very, very slowly. I have a skeletal first act of the film with some very, very skeletal dialogue. When you're on a diet and the place that you got a chicken salad from, frozen complimentary mac and cheese, and you're just like, screw it. Yeah. What the fuck? Do I have to just do these like fake ass segments to get you guys to ask interesting questions? Do I have to like do let's pretend we're speed dating? Do you want to do the speed dating segment again? Like, what do we got to do? What can we do? Have you ever had to run for your life? Thankfully, no. I don't think so. I'm trying to think if I ever had to run for my life, like literally run away from something that was going to try and blow me up or shoot me or kill me or something. But no, I have not. I can't think of anything that I have. I do that a lot in my dreams, though. Does that count? I go through these. I have a lot of recurring dreams. I always have since I was very little, and a lot of the times they're centered around the world ending in some way or another. Giant tornadoes or like tidal waves that are absurdly huge in places that there shouldn't be tidal waves. Like I used to have a dream when I was a kid that the ocean or some giant body of water crashed over the Sierra Nevada range, which would be nigh on impossible, I think. But I would see it crashing down into the valley in my dreams. Nukes. I've dreamed about nukes a lot. I've dreamed about zombies a lot. And I usually end up having to try and run from this myriad of stuff with family members or friends. It's like a rotating cast of people. It's almost never everyone I care about. It'll be like, a girlfriend or my mom, or TJ's been in a couple of them, Scotty, you know what I mean? Old friends from high school I haven't seen forever. It's like a rotating cast of people that I care about. It doesn't always end for the world actually ending with me, but it very often does. Sometimes I get, jarred awake in the middle of the dream and I don't get to finish it. But if the dream is allowed to come to like fruition, if I sleep all the way through the dream, then it will end. Yeah, I'll get to like see the bombs or see the tidal wave coming. It's pretty cool. I have a recurring nightmare where a gargantuan black cloud smothers me and everyone. Cool. Make a student film about it. Make a low budget film, dude, about the black cloud. You ever feel like you might be dreaming but aren't sure? That happens to me a lot. Yes. And that is a sign too that if you worked on it, you could be a lucid dreamer. I've had a couple of lucid dreams in my life. They're very hard for me to attain. Both of them were when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I don't think I sleep anywhere near as soundly as I did when I was young. So the chances of me lucid dreaming are pretty much over. But I've had a couple in my life, and they're amazing. A lucid dream is so cool. Paul, what would be a good script for Habbo the movie? Habbo the movie, dude? Well, I know what Habbo Hotel was for me. Habbo Hotel was one of the most fun places to troll that I ever found on the internet. It was... Yeah, pool's closed, dude. Oh my God, dude. I participated in some Habbo shenanigans with some guys from this old website that I've been involved with since like the early 2000s. We used to all play Ultima Online together, and we would raid, we'd all get together and just, like troll people mercilessly in Habbo Hotel, which was like this very, very early kind of proto, I don't even know what you'd say, avatar chat, I guess. You know what I mean? Where you've got like a little character that you create, and you can walk around, but it's basically just a place to like talk. People would get so, and like it was so funny too, because when you tried to cuss, it would bleep you by turning your shit into Baba. BOBBA. So if you were like, fuck you, you bitch, it would be like, Baba you Baba. So it started to get pretty funny. You know what I mean? Because Baba became the placeholder. It just like they made it the new cuss word. So now you could just spit Babas out at people and they would all gasp because each person would imagine their own worst dirty word. You know what I mean? So it was just like, I don't know. I really loved it. You could stand your character in the way of getting into or out of certain elements that people wanted to go hang out at. The dance floor was a popular one to close off that doesn't get a lot of attention. The pool was the one that I think 4chan eventually came along and was closing off. But you could close off any room. You could also go to people's private little Habbo Hotel rooms. And the real fucking dorks would have like these rooms decked out with shit that they had to buy for real money from, you know, the Habbo store or whatever the fuck. Like you'd walk into that shit like it was like a pimp pad in there, you know what I mean? You know, like just had like a burning log on the fireplace with an animation and like something that looked like the Mona Lisa hanging on the wall and like red velvet paintings and like a leather couch with lion's feet and shit. And you'd be like, oh, okay. So you're a dude that's like, you're coming out of pocket heavy for this. Did they have strippers? Dude, they had a whole sex economy at Habbo Hotel. Let me tell you the dirty, seamy underbelly. Because if you wanted to have a dirty ass fucking Baba come and Baba your Baba, there were people that would do that because they would trade for goods and shit. So if you needed your Baba Baba'd, or you wanted to Baba some Baba, or flip it over and Baba up the Baba, like you could do that in Habbo Hotel. It was considered to be a very sad thing to do. And I never partook in it myself. But part of the fun was trying to bust in on people that were getting some Baba. You know what I mean? Because some of these people would leave their rooms open after the Habbo hooker got there. And then you could bust in the middle of him getting some Baba or receiving some Baba or giving some Baba, you know what I mean? And he would have to fumble around with his lotiony hands and try and ban you out of his room. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This was the essence of why Habbo Hotel was actually a pretty fun place to troll at. In my younger days, hardly anything was funnier. What sound did they make when they came? Baba. They would scream, Baba! Oh, like Pokemon. No, I don't think so. Y'all smoke this Baba to escape from reality? Yes. Do you too? This game sounds like the worst and best thing ever. It wasn't really a game. It was more of it was more of a I don't know, like a stupid weird chat room. Yeah, VR chat, but really early on. A chat room with extra steps. Yeah. Pool's closed. Pool's closed. Who goes? Pool's closed. Which state would you be least likely to live in? Mississippi. No, thank you. I'd rather not live in Mississippi. Sounds like Second Life. Yeah, it's like that, but super old. You just want to live forever? Okay. Well, good luck. Yeah, zombie dreams are really the worst. Dude, I can tell you the scariest zombie dream I ever had. I woke up, I actually had, and I've had a few of these over the course of my life. Thankfully, I don't have them very often, but sleep paralysis, which is typified by obviously not being able to control your body, just being paralyzed in your body, and is also typified by what I've heard called the old hag syndrome. Which is this oppressive feeling that something is hovering over you or in the room with you that wants to do you harm. These are common amongst many people who experience sleep paralysis. And I had a zombie dream. I actually did like I said, there's a video on this channel. Well, not on this channel, on the Ideology channel, which used to be the Paul's Ego channel, of me way back when the next day. Maybe I should just go find that and play it. But anyway, long story short, it was a horrible dream. Culminated in pretty much everybody I knew being picked off slowly by hordes of, zombies returning at night to like harrow us as zombies and having to kill, my own like it was very gory, very detailed. Culminated in me waking up with sleep paralysis and the feeling that there was a zombie in the room with me, and that if I were indeed able to move, and I did, that he would pounce on me and just chew me up. And it was fucking terrifying. Like probably easily the scariest dream I've ever had, just because it carried over into the real world through that weird hypnagogic barrier, that happens, those hallucinations, whatever they're called, hypnagogic hallucinations, I think they're called. Pretty spooky stuff. What did you do when you could finally move? I'd slowly started to kind of come out of it, but I still had that oppressive feeling that if I moved, that there was still something in the room with me. Like I kind of gained the ability to move my fingers a little bit, and I was sleeping next to my then girlfriend, who would become eventually my wife. I was sleeping next to her, and I was able to like flex my fingers out and touch her back in such a way that she moved and just like kind of rolled over. And when she moved and nothing happened, I was able to like sit up in the bed and whip around and look at the doorway where I thought this fucking thing was standing. And it was just like, whew. It was not until that moment that I was totally and utterly convinced that that was not real. So it's like one of those times where you completely lose yourself to fantasy because you're trapped in between that dream state and reality. So weird. I was about to sacrifice my girlfriend. I mean, I guess so, dude. I don't know if that was my thought process. I doubt it. I'm pretty sure my thought process was like, I'm trying to move anything I can move, and I'm trying to alert her that something's wrong or some shit. Poltergeist. Paul, if you want to activate lucid dreams, I don't want to talk about the stupid fucking binaural beat bullshit. I've never had a lucid dream off of a binaural beat off of YouTube, dude. Sorry. I saw a demon that was crouched, and it asked me if I wanted to see what it did to that dog that was barking, but it was mean. That's disturbing. Thanks for the nightmare. Paul, have you seen the Cats trailer? Yes, I have. Have you ever had sudden jolts of energy that wake you up? I used to get that all the time as a kid. Yeah, where you just like bolt upright in bed. I've had that happen. Sometimes I think it's as a result of a dream, and I don't always remember my dreams. I sometimes lose them immediately. So I've had a lot of times where I've woken up that way and just kind of bolted awake. And I'm pretty sure it's, as a result of something that had happened to me in a dream, but it just fades so quickly. What's the biggest creature you've killed? I killed a hog once in 4-H. Was part of, I don't know, just part of what I had to do. We had to kill a hog and then learn how to gut it and shave all the bristles off of it and prepare it for all of that. So I killed a hog with a .22 rifle. I shot it in the head, and it died. And then all the big burly dudes and kids in 4-H hoisted the hog up and cut it open, and that was that. I never felt so bad about anything in my entire life. I'm going to be dead honest with you. To this day, I feel awful about it. Like, it was that day that I realized that I'm not a farmer. You know what I mean? I'm not a farmer. You know, and whatever. There are people out there that have to do that shit. You know, the human race as it exists now would not function without people that can do that shit and not flinch. But it was on that day that I learned that that's just not me. Not something I could ever do. I was involved with a frog firework. Damn, that sucks, bro. Well, shit, I didn't feel bad. Had to kill a few cows in my youth. Yeah, see, I'm not saying you should feel bad. Like, people, like, there was another question that scrolled by, and I've talked about this on here before, but I think it's interesting because there are people are wired differently. It's one of the most interesting thing about human beings to me. And I really don't like most people, but as a whole, our psychology interests me. It interests me that there are people that are genuinely wired to be more creative, more productive, and happier, living an almost inverse cycle, like sleeping during the day all day and being up all night. I was scolded for my entire childhood for being that kind of person. And as an adult, I'm still that person. And it took until I was an adult and finally, you know, was able to get the information from doctors and from the internet and shit that there are indeed an entire swath of people who are wired psychologically and, you know, whatever, brain-wise to live at night, to be up at night, to feel good at night. Right, a night owl is what people would call. What I was called my entire fucking life was lazy. It was, oh, you just want to sleep all fucking day. You're lazy. You just want to be up all night and sleep all day. You're lazy. And it's like, nobody ever thought to explore the idea that I might be productive. And it's something that's totally unexplored now, by the way, in education. Like, there are children that are wired that way. There are children that just don't want to go to fucking bed, and getting them to go to school by 7:30 in the morning is like a fucking nightmare. And when they are there, they're so tired they can't do anything because they don't feel right during the fucking day. I'm one of those people. Now, that doesn't mean I can't go do shit during the day. In fact, I do it all the time. But the later that I can be productive, the better I feel about it. So people are wired differently. And when it comes to bring it back home to the killing of the pig, and I don't think I've told people that story before. I don't usually. I don't like it. I still, like, telling that story made me feel bad. And there are people out there that are wired to not have that kind of connection. That's it. You know? Lazy is such a ridiculous dismissal term. It's like a slur designed for the sole purpose of insulting others. Well, I mean, you know, it does have its place. There are people that do genuinely lazy things. So I think it has a context, at least, you know, for something that needs to be described. I get depressed if I stay up all night. Well, there you go. You're a morning person then. Killing animals is weird sometimes. It'll make you laugh maniacally. You're so edgy. When I grow up, I want to be edgy just like you, dude. I can't sleep with the sun shining through my window, but I feel more energetic at night, though. Well, I mean, get some blackouts, bro. That's what I do. Blackout curtains are your friend. Paul, do you have a good evil laugh? I mean, it depends on the villain. See, there's no catch-all evil laugh, you know? But yeah, I've got a pretty decent evil laugh. I don't know that I want to do it right now because it's pretty loud and it's pretty late. Growing up on a farm, shooting old dying horses leaves you hollow and deflated. Damn, squirrelitosis. I'm sorry you feel that way, dude. My job forces me to be a normie. Otherwise, I'd be a night owl. Yeah, dude. Well, that was most of my life. That was basically my existence. I mean, it's not just people that are kind of united against night people. It's the whole of society. I mean, look at like what options night people have for places to go eat. You know, people in the normal fucking day-night cycle, the normal 9 to 5 kind of schedule can eat wherever the fuck they want. But us night people, if we're hungry at fucking 4 a.m, it's Waffle House or IHOP. I mean, I don't know. It's a regional. Not to bitch. I'm happy. All right, dude. All right. Here we go. Some general evil laughs. Well, I'll try and do let's see. This is a very general old style cartoony evil laugh. Excuse me. That's a pretty decent evil laugh. That's like the generalized Snidely Whiplash catch-all. I started to sound like the Count. 1, 2, 3. The Count. I did kind of. That's you want to know what a problem is? When I start doing my I need to really work on my Australian accent because I love, and I don't even want it to be accurate. I just want to be able to stay in it and not lilt into an English accent. That's some shit I need to work on. Genuinely. Because it pisses me off, dude. I'll start with my shitty, like, bogan Australian accent, and then it just turns into, like, a British accent. Lol, no one cares here. Can someone please, squirrelitosis, take all of the hatred in your heart from having to kill those horses on the farm and dunk it? Thank you. Thank you so much. I so appreciate my specters. Can you do an Emperor Palpatine impression? Kinda. But not a good one. I'm not an impressionist usually. I think I do a decent Butthead from Beavis and Butthead. What other impressions can I do? I've never really been I do a Billy Corgan impression. Like, you guys got to hear that on the on the karaoke stream I did. I don't know. I'm very limited in my impression. I've never been an impressionist. Do a guy gone crazy laugh, okay? There you go. I told you. I've got crazy fucking villain laughs, dude. I can do it. I can do it. Have a donut? Thank you. It's a little light. Need some icing and some batter and some cake to it. Do your best Orson Welles. Ah, the French champagne. There is a distinguished champagne from California made by Paul Masson. He uses the techniques of the old country so that Paul Masson makes the best wine. There you go. Do a Scotty impression. I can't really do that right now, dude. You guys are way too high energy, and I'm not. I gotta be frank with you. You're on a different level. You guys want me to be doing backflips tonight, and I just want to cuddle up and go to sleep. I just want us all to make a big cuddle puddle and go to sleep. Low energy, Paul, yeah. The French champagne. Paul Masson has a new champagne of the old vintage, brewed in California. That sounds nice. It does, doesn't it? A big old cuddle puddle, a big old ideology cuddle puddle. I bet it would stink, though. You guys would have to, like, scrub yourselves real good if we're going to do the cuddle puddle, because... Paul, I saw you at Disneyland in 1992. Dude, are you the real Chuck E. Cheese? You know Chuck E. Cheese's name is Charles Entertainment Cheese? That's his full birth name. Did you know that? You did know that, didn't you? Pennywise impression? I don't really have one. Like, I'd want to do my own take on Pennywise. Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese's real name is Charles Entertainment Cheese. You can look it up. I wouldn't lead you down the rabbit hole. The French champagne. Paul Masson has a new champagne. Paul's ego impersonation. Yeah, I can do a pretty good Paul's ego. Hold on, let me get it. What it do, what it do, what it do? Hey, what's up, everybody? Let me smoke some weed. Oh, whoa, bro, man. Fucking everything is meaningless, bro. Throw away all your wealth, man. Get rid of this capitalistic, fucking system that's like keeping everybody down, man. Fucking, it's time for, like, nobody cares though, bro. I mean, the existential dread of it all, man, is that, like, none of this even mattered in the first place, and it won't matter ever, you know, and it'll go on not mattering forever, you know what I mean? Bring on the fucking nukes, bro. What do you think? It's pretty good. Yeah, there was a period, I went through a phase on ideology that was very much that. I will fucking tell you that. It was very low energy. It was very, but it had to happen. See, the best of you stuck with me through it because you realized that, you know, so too like the phoenix from the ashes shall I rise. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be that way, but yeah. There was a developmental phase of ideology that was very much in that vein. Maybe not as stonery. You know, what are you going to do? We retreat. Still got to mention how you're not going to vote in your impression, Paul. Oh, yeah, sorry. I missed a Paul trope. I didn't mention the pool I didn't have either. What's the dumbest thing another male has done to assert dominance over you? The dumbest thing? To assert dominance? I mean, I don't know. I always think it's pretty dumb when a dude wants to shove me for some reason. So I've had that happen. I've had dudes want to walk up and start shoving and shit. Put their chest, like in high school, that was the big thing, is like the dude would get all close, like he was going to kiss you and shit, and put his chest right up against yours and be like, what you going to do? I've had that done to me. I don't know. Oh, well, Waylon, yeah, I guess getting dry humped by Waylon might count. I don't know if that was a dominance act. I guess it pretty much reads like one. So yeah, getting tackled midair by Waylon and having the air crushed out of my lungs and getting dry humped through the whole process. That was pretty dumb. Paul, what's your favorite? Oh, you know what? I'd have a better answer than that. There's this dude in high school, and I'll have to change his name. He had a really popular name. Like if I said his name, you'd immediately associate it with a very popular character. He was a Japanese guy. And I'll have to call him like Yoshi or something. So Yoshi comes to the door. That was actually his name, by the way. It was Yoshi. Fuck him. He comes to the door one night because my friend, my roommate at the time, had this girl that he had this on again, off again relationship with. And one of the times that they were off again, Yoshi from high school, who I wasn't really friends with, I was acquaintances with him. I thought he was a cool dude, but I didn't chill with Yoshi. He chilled with a different group after high school and during. Okay? So sometime in one of the off again periods my roommate had with this chick, Yoshi starts having an on period with her. So they're dating. And of course, that chick on the night in question is upstairs with my roommate and another one of my friends who are doing what they call the wobbly H, which you can put your mind to work on that. I don't feel I need to explain any further. She was down for the wibble wobble. They also called it London Bridge. Now, I don't know if they actually completed the London Bridge portion over My Fair Lady. But let's just say that they were upstairs after coming home drunk from the bar, and I knew what was going on because I could hear it because we lived in a tiny little condo. So I was downstairs with my headphones on, listening to music and playing a game or something, trying to just pretend that you know, whatever. You know how if you've ever lived with roommates, you understand the protocol. To a certain extent, if you're going to live, especially if you're living with a dude, you're going to have to put up with, you know, people. You're going to have to hear people fuck, and people are going to hear you fuck. That's why I don't like having roommates. Anyway, so I'm sitting there at the fucking thing, and I can't hear it, but Yoshi is pounding on my front door. But I've got my headphones on, and I've got that shit cranked up because I don't want to hear the cavalcade of fucking carnal delights going on upstairs. I just was not in the mood. And so finally, they up there hear him beating on the door, and my roommate at the time comes down the stairs, waves at me, gets my attention, and goes, and I pull my thing off. He goes, "Yoshi's at the door, man. Tell him to go the fuck away." And I was like, "Yoshi from high school?" He's like, "Yeah, tell him to go the fuck away." And I was like, so I went over to the peephole, right? And I look out at and there's nobody there, and it's quiet, and I think, fuck. Whew. And now I had a door that had a peephole in it, and then at the very top of it, it had this little, like, you know what I mean? That little half circle shape of window. And so I'm looking through the peephole, and I'm about to stop, and all of a sudden I see this little, like the top of somebody's head trying to hop up to look into that window that's right above the peephole. And I was like, holy shit. So I opened the door, and it's Yoshi from high school. He's a short dude, fat, short, Japanese guy. And I hadn't seen him in forever, and I didn't know what was going on. I was like, Yosh, what's going on? And he's like, where is she? And immediately I know who he's talking about. But I go like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. And he's like, where the fuck is she, dude? I'm gonna fucking beat your ass. And I was like, wait. You're standing at my door at 3 in the fucking morning and you're going to beat my ass? I was like, let's go then, Yoshi. I don't want to fight you, but what the fuck are you all for? She's up there. I know she's fucking up there with him and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, it ain't none of my fucking business, dude. Don't take it out on me. And at this point, he shoves his way past me. Just like, shoves his way in the door. And I wasn't really trying to stop him. He wasn't mad at me. And I just kind of yelled up. I was like, you know, red team go or some shit. You know, I don't know how I warned them, but they legitimately put that girl in the closet and laid down, like Waylon laid down on the bed, and the other dude that was up there was sitting at the desk, and Yoshi busted in. Where is she? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. They played it cool. Yoshi threw a box down the stairs, like an empty box. He got real mad. He was like, ugh! Threw an empty, like, you know, packing box, and it came tumbling down the stairs. And then he threatened to beat all our asses and bring back some dudes to beat our asses, and then he left. That was probably the stupidest, like, dominance chest thump thing that I ever was, like, directly involved in. Because it was just hilarious from start to finish. Yoshi was like a little pumpkin, you know what I mean? As soon as he left, they went back to running. Yes, they did. That's actually the truth. Do you think that they stopped running the train after Yoshi came? He didn't even succeed in that. I had to put my headphones back on and go back into whatever game I was playing, because the train made an unscheduled stop, but it was definitely going to get to its final destination. The shit we put up with. Shouldn't be doing that to the guy. Completely scummy. What? Shut up. Go moralize somewhere else, you fucking idiot. She's a grown-ass woman. If she wants to get fucking double-teamed upstairs, it's none of my fucking business. Nor is it any of Yoshi's. He can leave her, and that's about, you know, where it ends. Train was loaded with passengers, too, by the end. Yes. Loaded. Kanye or no Kanye? What? Get out of here. Don't be a dumb question asker, dude. That is a real easy way to get your ass banned. Like, there's 2 in a row right there that are ban worthy. Thoughts on the term thought? I mean, you really fucking dropped that one. Squirrelatosis, the least fucking lenient mod, is here. Squirrelatosis literally would burn this place down if I told him to. He would ban every one of you. I'm not, by the way, I did not give that order, Squirrel, but I'm just letting them know that out of all of the mods, you will find no sympathy in him. This man had to kill horses, so he's seen some shit. Banning you is like a fucking, it's worrisome as a cloudy day in his world. This man has no conscience. That's why I empowered him. An ass band sounds sexy but uncomfortable. Who the fuck are you? And what the fuck is an ass band? Does he punch horses to death? He must have. You're hyped for the meetup? Cool, me too. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know we've sold a lot of the tickets. We're not sold out, but it's moving along nicely given the fact that it is a month away. And so many people fucking show up on the day of. That was the same in L.A. Like, we were worried that L.A. was going to be kind of a small turnout, and we ended up selling that place completely out because so many people just showed up and bought at the door, which I think is stupid as fuck. When the tickets are dangling out there online for months in advance, like, just get one. But whatever. I don't tell people how to do their business. I guess I do. I guess I just did. Only 3 more years till I can go to a meetup. Being 18 sucks. I bet it does. So does having, like, a name with memes in it, dude. Come on, dude. I'm just trying to help you get closer to that age. And if you're gonna, like, if you're still 21 and you've got memes in your name, that's not gonna be a good look. Are you gonna have security at the meetup? Seems pretty sketchy. Yeah, can we hire you, Chuck? I was just gonna ask if we could hire you. Would you beat up anybody that comes and with weapons or gets crazy? Would you escort anyone off the premises? Y'all ever coming to Texas? I don't know. I won't say no, but I don't think that there are any near immediate plans for Texas. Could happen. We have bantered about the idea of, Austin. So I think that's where you could expect us to go, if anywhere in Texas. California, you have to be 21 to buy cigarettes. Oh, well, that sucks. My man Paul, is VIP before or after main show? It's before. So VIPs are let in like an hour and a half or something early. And we're going to just kind of chill in there, do some shots, hang out, sign some shit with you guys, take pictures, just a more limited engagement. I live in Texas, but I think it's weird. Yeah, Texas is, I don't know, dude. I don't have a whole lot of bad to say about Texas, honestly. Especially through the lens of having lived in the even deeper South here. Texas has got some pretty good things going for it, and the people there are pretty cool. And by and large, the area that I lived in, the San Antonio area, the roads were pretty well maintained, especially in comparison to what I'm used to here and elsewhere in the South. So Austin is a pretty cool town. Yeah, Texas has got some shit going for it. It's way more politically diverse than people think it is. People think of Texas and they immediately think like everyone walking around there is a staunch conservative, but there's actually a rich tradition of Texas liberalism, and there's a lot of it, so it's an interesting place. Is there ever going to be a live Q&A where we all just yell out questions constantly and you just pick one to answer? At the show? Probably not in that format, no. But we always involve people at the show. Like, we always involve the audience a little bit. Those that want to participate anyway. Texas is slowly turning blue, it feels like. The weather is super bipolar. Yeah, it is. I mean, dude, I've never seen storms like happen in fucking Texas. We're just talking general fucking storms. The lightning in Texas is like nothing you've ever seen in your fucking life. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen. And, it's like, not like lightning is uncommon where I'm from. I've seen a lot of lightning storms. I see a lot here. We get some crazy ones here, but nothing touches a Texas fucking lightning storm. That shit is crazy. Paul, which movie comes to mind as the most insufferable that you and TJ have reacted to? For me, it was easily the Transformers movie that we watched, or the couple of Transformers. That I just hate those movies. They're so shit. Marshall Manson in the house. What's up, Marshall? Everything's big in Texas, you know it is. I think I might have made a big mistake. Oh, 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 chord organ blues. Chord organ blues. What's the most overrated movie? Overrated? Probably like Titanic. I'd say Titanic is overrated. There's really like only the last part of Titanic where you get the big kind of sinking scene is really all that good. The rest of that movie, you know, it's not great. I don't know. I kind of liked Avatar, honestly. What makes Gladiator such a great movie? There's a lot of things that make Gladiator a great movie. One, Ridley Scott has a very, very great eye for framing, which is so fucking important if you're shooting these kind of grand, sweeping shots. And Ridley also uses color very well, so it's shot very beautifully. It's got a very pleasing pace to it. It is not what I would call a pulse-pounding movie through and through, but it is a peaks and valleys movie. It's a movie that gives you just enough time to catch your breath and then hits you with another really pulse-pounding action moment that culminates in some quieter moment. You know what I mean? It keeps you engaged with that kind of bouncing heartbeat monitor style of pacing, which is really hard to pull off because it can be really wearisome. Gladiator does it very well, very well. Has an excellent sense of scale for a film, if you ask me. Even though, you know, CGI at the time was still kind of limited, the work that they did on the Colosseum to make it look like how it would have looked in the days of the Roman Empire. I don't know. It's just a good movie. It's got pleasing characters in it. It's another one of those movies where you're not introduced to... TJ and I were talking about this when we were watching another movie that I would love to dissect one day. No pun intended. Silence of the Lambs. One of the things that makes Silence of the Lambs such a brilliant film is that there is not one single character that has any screen time or lines in that movie that isn't interesting, even if they're only there as a plot device. Examples: Barney, the security guard that lets Clarice Starling into the Supermax ward underneath the psychiatric institution where Hannibal Lecter lives. Could have been a throwaway character, some grim guy that was just there to add to the ambiance. You know, we've already gotten that grim, adversarial, dark tone from Dr. Chilton, who has a brief moment where he's kind to Clarice, and then he tries to hit on her, and she rebuffs him, and he becomes a complete fucking dick and starts trying to scare her. And we're expecting, you know, I would expect a lesser movie to just put some big dude in the role of Barney, the orderly, that's just basically like Lurch, right? He's just there to turn the key and be ominous and be like, whatever you do, don't approach the glass. You know, and just step out of her way and just give her nothing. But instead, he has this really tender moment with her. You can see that even though he lives down here in the bowels of hell with some of the worst people that have ever existed, in some of the worst conditions that you could imagine, he's a kind person. he sees how scared she is, and he tries to calm her down. He reassures her, and so you're given that moment of like, oh, okay, the tension is over, and then he opens the door, and the incident with Miggs happens, and the incredibly tense first conversation with Hannibal Lecter happens. So it's another movie, another example of some side characters in that movie that just jump off the screen. The two weird little insect entomologist guys that help her decipher what kind of moth is in Frederica Bimmel's throat. Those two dudes could have been just throwaway nerd type characters, right? And instead, they're memorable. Like, I remember both of those dudes. I don't remember what their names were, but they have a very brief moment in the film, but it's a memorable moment. You remember those two guys. There's just nobody in the film that doesn't need to be there. There's no character in the movie that's just there to grease the wheels for a plot device, if that makes sense. And I really admire that in a movie, and I think that Gladiator is a movie that attains that. Maybe not to the level that Silence of the Lambs does, but... Paul, what's a movie you love that most people hate? Mom and Dad Save the World. It's a weird 90s family comedy with John Lovitz and Terry Garr, and I can't remember what the fucking lead guy's name is. But it's not a good movie, but I fucking love it. I can't help it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't recommend you watch it because I don't think it's a good movie. But favorite scene in Aliens, the scene that, I mean, okay, so obviously the cliche answer to give here, but I also think it might be the correct answer, is the final 15 minutes of Aliens. Bishop, starting with Bishop dropping Ripley off on the platform, or Ripley, sorry. Bishop drops Ripley off on the platform. She goes down the elevator. She's got her gun. So the search for Newt and the pursuit of the Queen, culminating in Bishop just barely escaping the reactor going critical, is the obvious answer to that question. However, there are scenes in that movie that stick out more to me, honestly, and that I remember with even more fondness. I don't know that I'll be able to narrow it down to just one, but the scene where the team of badass space Marines first encounters the true threat of the xenomorphs in the reactor processing unit. They're all geared up. Ripley and the rookie commander are outside of the facility, relatively safe, or so they think, watching through all of the helmet cams, which, by the way, at the time, it may seem like a totally foregone conclusion, but it bears mentioning that idea of monitoring each member of a tactical squad with a heads-up mounted display was very new at the time. And very prescient. It's exactly what happens in tactical situations now. So it was a movie that just predicted a lot of future technology, not to get too far afield. But that scene where they start with walking down that winding staircase, going ever deeper into the bowels of the facility. And as they do, they start to see little indications of the nest. You know, this slimy shit on the walls, this weird structure that's running along the spine of the hall that they're walking down. And it slowly but surely becomes this H.R. Giger nightmare. And these badasses do such a great job of showing that confidence and swagger that comes with a highly trained special operations military force, right? These people they trust their training, they trust their command. And you see that erode over the course of that scene where the aliens show that not only are these Space Marines not badass enough, but that they indeed have the upper hand. And it's only Ripley who has the wherewithal to save them all by driving that insane APC right into the fucking shit and getting out the few of the soldiers that managed to survive it. Absolutely amazing scene, and it gives me chills every time. Just talking about it gives me chills, honestly. What single scene do you love in what is overall a bad movie? All right, well, I'll just give you one from Mom and Dad Save the World then. I love the scene where Todd Spango tries to marry Marge. There's like a whole wedding scene. So like the lead up to it and then the culmination of the wedding scene is pretty funny and visually really interesting. That movie had a lot of practical movie magic in it. Natalie Portman with a shaved head and V for Vendetta is hot. Yeah, I don't like bald head. I mean, like I'd be fine with it, I guess, in a certain context, but I'd rather hair. You know, I like hair. I thought V for Vendetta was so whack. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, buddy. Well, who fucking asked you? I didn't. Paul likes Bush. Hell yeah. The band. Mutton chops or goatee? Both. Grow a beard. Be a man. What did you think of Watchmen, the film? It's a mixed bag for me. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. There are parts of it that I really fucking like. And there are parts of it that I thought were really kind of ham-fisted and cheesy, especially the way they handled the death of, what's his name, Rorschach, which I don't know if that's the way it goes down in the comics. I think I heard somebody tell me that it is. I don't care. The way it was presented in the movie just seemed ham-fisted and silly. I never read the comic book, so I don't bring any of that context to this discussion. I'm just talking about it from the standpoint of the film. You know what I mean? Read the book. Maybe I will, but I wouldn't hold my breath. I can't stand Zack Snyder's visual style. Okay, I don't care.
One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Oh, God. Pardon me. So, Marshall, have you announced what you sent to me in a DM? Can I talk about it in here, or are we keeping that under wraps? I'm a little out of the fucking loop, dude. I'm a little out of the loop. I'm just trying to catch up. Can I talk about it? Or is that something we're keeping under wraps, bro? I'm not going to say a fucking word until I hear from you. So Marshall is getting married, y'all. Our little baby boy's leaving the nest. Marshall's getting married. Sorry, ladies. The great and powerful Marshall Manson officially going full-time off the market. I don't know that I'll be able to make it to your wedding, my friend. Canada is a little, and the timing is a little strange too, but you know, you have our best wishes, dude. I'm super fucking happy for you. Marshall, one of the coolest dudes you'll meet, so give him some congrats and shit. I appreciate the thought, my friend. I really do. And wish I could make it. And maybe I will. I'm not saying it's completely out of the realm of fucking possibility, but I'm saying it's unlikely. Are we invited? I don't think you guys are, but congratulate the man all the same. He deserves it. He's a good guy. He found himself a good girl. He's going to settle down, have himself a little Manson brood. A little white picket fence, maybe a black picket fence. They seem like more of a black picket fence couple, but I could be wrong. All right. I have to leave you guys for just a moment because Dinor needs to go poop or pee or both. And sometimes Dinor takes precedence. Well, all the time Dinor takes precedence. Just end it. Can somebody kick Bondo Ball out of here and end it for him? For the rest of you, I'm going to leave you here. And in honor of Marshall's... In honor of Marshall's wedding, we'll play some of his wonderful contribution, starting with everyone's favorite. I'll be back in a minute or two, yeah?
So that's a forward Hadouken, and B, that's the gut slice. Let's check it out.
There might be some lazy J in here, too. I don't know how it'll work.
The screen is fucking laggy. Bends across the room, and he's fucking laughing at me. It ain't my fault that I'm fat. I was poor as a kid and I have a bad back. I need my couch, I don't deserve this. Let me talk to IKEA customer service. Santa called that kid fat. Still can't believe he did that. And I've been doing a backwards Hadouken since 1992. Salty ball, round as a ball. And I'm fat cause my back is bent. No telling where my couch from IKEA went. Salty ball, round as a ball. Got my vape at TJ's house. Nicotine fit so I can run my mouth. Ginger's can tan Ben. And don't get me started on penguins. Billy threw his piss on me. I attacked him while he was in his seat. And I've been doing a backwards Hadouken since 1992. Salty ball, round as a ball. And I'm fat cause my back is bent. No telling where my couch from IKEA went. Salty ball, round as a ball. Salty.
Well, I guess I forgot how to do a backwards Hadouken. I mean, I've only been doing it since 1992, so...
Hey there, I just wanted to make a nice positive message for fellow Drunken Peasants fans. You know, some people out there might be feeling down, might be feeling depressed. And I just wanted to make sure that you remember it could always be worse.
I'm addicted to methamphetamine since the age of 3. Emotionally crippled, my mom and dad raped me. Homeless in the desert, surviving on rats and pee. At least I'm not Brett Keane. At least I'm not Brett Keane. If your life is full of failure and it's getting real tough now,
Your body's riddled with cancer. Your spouse has kicked you out. Your own family has disowned you. Nowhere at all to be. At least you're not breaking. At least you're not breaking. So if you're ever feeling down and need to put your mind at ease, take off that noose, sit there, watch some games you love and see. At least you're not breaking. At least you're not breaking. A child in Mosul awakens to bombs. Gunfire through his window, tearing his little flesh from his little bone. He lays there dying on the floor, accepting death as he bleeds. And he thinks, he does think, at least I'm not Brett Keane. At least I'm not Brett Keane. Man, I just can't play that song enough, man. That really is. I know that. Do you know that principle, and I'm being dead ass serious with you right now, that principle has saved lives. Saved lives. I guarantee you that this song, or just that idea, just that idea, just that idea has saved at least a life. There is somebody that may have been at their fucking wit's end. Thought they had nowhere to run, felt like they were the lowest scum of the earth, ready to fucking dive off a bridge or put a gun in their mouth, and then they remembered the universal principle. You don't think so? You don't think there's ever been one person? I gotta be honest with you, dude. This song has pulled me back from the brink. I'm not saying that it's saved me from suicide, because I might commit suicide, but I would never commit suicide. But I promise you I never will. But if I did, then it definitely wouldn't be your fault for not loving me and not supporting me through everything. You know, I'll find that support somewhere else. But I know I wouldn't do that, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm just saying hypothetically, if I did. What if you buy me a Tesla? Well, that would definitely fill the hole for 2 or 3 days, until I figured out that having that Tesla made people perceive me as a rich dude, and then I'd have to pretend that I never had the Tesla. We love you, Poogie8899. Okay. Until you see your electric bill. Paul, what is your preferred afterlife theory? Non-existence, because I think it makes the most sense, and I think it's the most attractive option of all of them. So, yeah. I'm going with the atheistic option of when the machinery of the brain ceases to exist, then the person that inhabited that body also ceases to exist as a consciousness, and that on the other side of that is non-existence, i.e. what happened to you before you were born, when you didn't have a soul wandering around waiting for your parents to fuck and create a child. So, anyway. I always knew Boogie was a weird guy putting on a facade, but your guy's episode made me realize how fake his life really is. It wasn't even really about like his life being fake. It was really about pointing out this like psychological manipulation that he's clearly guilty of. And making that the forefront of what we're doing. I have seen, and it's HBO's Chernobyl, it's not Netflix, but I've seen like the first episode and some of I really liked it, but I just haven't sat down and watched the whole thing. I probably will. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Maybe I'll sit down and watch a couple episodes of Chernobyl or some shit. I really liked the first episode. It's totally moody, dude. Like it had this weird kind of like dark horror movie vibe that I really wasn't expecting. You know, I thought it was just going to be this kind of dramatized shit with flashy CGI. It gets even darker. Cool. I'm glad to hear that. I've really tried to avoid spoilers on it and shit because, like, the first episode, I was like, ooh. Yeah, it tickled my fancy for sure. Do you have a favorite rabbit hole? What's a rabbit hole, dude? Are you going to... oh, you mean like just like something to fall down? Lately, like I kind of moved from rabbit hole to rabbit hole. I was on a beekeeping rabbit hole for a long time, and then I kind of got bored of that. You know, I'd watch these dudes that would show up and try and preserve the honeycombs and the bees and stuff. There's actually a dude that's like pretty close to me here that has a whole abbey where he takes bees. So I watched a lot of that shit for a while. I was real interested in it, and then that kind of turned into like restoration videos. So like these dudes that'll like take this old rust bucket shit that looks like you wouldn't pay fucking a dime for it and restore it back to like factory new. So that kind of shit is cool. Especially if you can find a dude that knows how to do it right and doesn't put some cringy ass fucking rock metal soundtrack in the background over all of it to try and make it seem extra badass, but you know, the ones that actually let you hear all the little hammer strikes and the grinders and stuff. It's kind of pleasant. I actually went through a lock-picking phase, too. There's a dude on YouTube that calls himself the lock-picking lawyer, and if you search that, you'll find him. He's actually really cool to watch. He's really good at defeating locks with lock picks and non-conventional methods, and he'll like go buy these padlocks and show you how most of them are dog shit, like how it takes almost nothing to, you know what I mean, open them without the key. So I tend to move around, but all of those things I consider to be like at least video rabbit holes that I didn't go looking for. Like at some point, something like that popped up in my recommended, you know, and I clicked on it and I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this beekeeping shit, you know, and then I was watching the beekeeping shit. And then at some point it throws like a, you know, 1929 Black & Decker handsaw, completely rusted out, restored to new. And I was like, all right, well, let's see what this is. Oh, this is cool. And I spend, you know, in my leisure time when I'm about to go to sleep, that's what I'm sitting there watching. Like, oh, yeah, restore another handsaw. And yeah, and then at some point I got deep enough down that rabbit hole where they started throwing me lockpicking videos, and I was like, oh, okay. And then that turned into blacksmithing shit, which now I'm back into again because I started watching that Forged in Fire show. TJ's way more into it than, well, he's not maybe not way more into it than I am, but he's watched way more of it, so I guess he would be. TJ, like, sacrificed 3 or 4 days to the altar of that show. Ever went down the preppers rabbit hole? No. I have not found that one yet. Have you seen restorations of old paintings? Yeah. I've seen some of that. Some of it just doesn't really appeal to me. Some of it really does. I don't know. Something's got to tickle my I really liked the beekeeping stuff for a long time. I watched a lot of that. But I don't know. I really like the lock picking shit too. Pepper eaters. Yeah, that was an old one. That was an early rabbit hole that I fell down. You know, back in the day. We're talking like 2007, 2008. Started to pick up these people that would get their hands on these ultra hot peppers or whatever the fuck. And they'd eat them, and some of them would cry and want to go to the hospital and shit. Yeah. The pepper eaters. Chiropractic, that's another rabbit hole that I've fallen down. You know, there's these like chiropractors that I guess they probably give people extra money off their fucking adjustments if they can be in a YouTube video or some shit. I don't know how they, like if some dude was like, hey, can I put a camera in your face while you wince in pain and I crack every joint on your body? I'd be like, fuck you. No. So I don't know how he gets these people to do it, but whatever. Have you seen a documentary series on Netflix? It's called Dirty Money. Nope. I have not. The Cinnamon Eaters. That was like one of the early Tide Pod, you know, fads or whatever. The stupid asses that would try and eat just mouthfuls of fucking cinnamon. Dude, Onision did that one time. You gotta see this shit, dude. Let me see if it's still even available. It might not be. Like, if I were him, I would have fucking... Dude, you can just, like, count on fucking Onision to jump on every fucking trend. So here's the emo cinnamon challenge.
Hi, my name is Emo.
Let's just skip ahead and get to the part where he's eating the fucking cinnamons. Here we go. All right. There you go. Hold on. So there you go. There you go. That was the cinnamon eaters rabbit hole. Teenage girls. I don't even think teenage girls found this funny. Maybe they did, though. I might be wrong. More terrifying than most horror movies. I agree. Pretty hideous, pretty horrifying. Remember planking? That was a big thing. People would plank. There's just endless, you know, the internet is just concocting this shit all the fucking time. You know, this viral video shit is still very prevalent. People are still shooting for this kind of virality and shit, trying to come up with stunts and stupid bullshit that hoping that it catches on. The internet sucks. That is the stupidest shit. Coning, yeah. Paul, you should get on a track with 21 Savage. Well, have him call me. Have him hit me up. I'll do something with 21 Savage. I don't know. Would I have to fly to England to do it, though? The Harlem... Oh, my God. Please don't invoke the fucking Harlem Shake. Can we please agree as a group of fucking adults that we can go through life not doing the Harlem Shake shit? What's the stupidest way to die? I don't know, man. It seems like a question that you could just have a snappy answer to, and maybe some people do. But there's a lot of dumbass fucking ways to die. I don't really think autoerotic asphyxiation is a dumb way to die in the grand scheme of shit. You know, like the whole point of autoerotic asphyxiation, as I understand it, is pushing that limit of like choking yourself out. Well, it was probably the best one of those that they ever did, you know? So can you say that's the stupidest way anybody's ever gone out in pursuit of an orgasm? Like, I don't know. Looking down the barrel of a gun? Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe like handling your own gun and like looking right down the barrel and pulling the trigger at the same time, you know? That might be the dumbest way to go. Not doing it on purpose, just accidentally being so stupid that you shoot yourself in the face. I don't know. What would be dumber? I don't know, dude. That's a tough question. There's so many dumb ways to die. Getting eaten by a pet tiger. I mean, that's a pretty dumb way to die. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it's the dumbest, though. I mean, I think on a certain level, if you get a pet tiger, you kind of expect it to maybe be able to eat you. Otherwise, it wouldn't be cool to have. So, you know. What about, like, if you were part of some small Christian church and you decided to go to one of these, like, war-torn countries, you know, to try and help, but as soon as you land, you just get kidnapped and brutally tortured and murdered. I mean, that's a pretty dumb way to die. To fly from a place in the world that's safe to a place in the world where, like, you literally could get beheaded at any second. You know what I mean? That's got to be on the list somewhere. It's pretty dumb. They died for what they believed. Maybe that's the dumbest way you can die. You know what? You might have actually clarified the best answer to that. I don't know if you were trolling or what, but yeah, that might actually be the best answer. Well, got some fluctuation. Got some dropped frames happening, but this is a pretty long one. I'm probably going to end it here pretty soon. But I think that might be the best fucking answer, dude. Yep. Dying for what you believe might be the stupidest thing to do. That might be the stupidest way to die in general. To somehow drown in feces. Yeah. I feel like you'd have to be kind of dumb to go out like that. Dying for what you don't believe. You have no loyalties, coward. Going to North Sentinel Island to spread Christianity. I should have said if you feel hate gun nuts on YouTube is not the best. Watch Diresta make a weird table or something. Dying for what others believe in, aka the military. Yeah. being a baby or puppy that cannot figure out how to use a car door. Oh my God. All right. That's it. That was the one. What did it? You broke me with that one. Good night, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye. What the fuck, dude?